You're listening to the Small Business Accelerator podcast, accelerating success, one founder at a time.
With your hosts, Roger Bryant and Sarah Wilson.
We support small business owners, the little guys. We're here to help you win in today's landscape.
Join us each week as we reveal powerful strategies for small business owners that save you time and money.
Because we believe every small business owner should have access to Fortune 500 style strategies without breaking the bank.
Subscribe now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts to accelerate your small business success.
Hey everyone, welcome to our deep dive. Today we're tackling something you encounter every day. Scaling. It doesn't matter if it's your business, your tech,
right,
or even just that to-do list that never seems to end. We're breaking down how to handle more without everything falling apart. You know?
It's fascinating how scaling is relevant across so many areas of life. It's all about growth.
Yeah.
But in a way that's sustainable.
Right.
And doesn't just lead to total chaos.
Exactly. So to guide us today, we have two awesome sources.
Okay.
The Secret to Scaling Systems That Grow With You.
Yes.
And Automations Made Easy. Think of it like one's the big picture blueprint and the others are toolbox for actually making it happen.
The secret to scaling starts with this really interesting concept.
Yeah.
Systems thinking.
Okay.
It encourages you to view your business or even your life like a complex machine.
Interesting.
And to scale it effectively, you can't just tinker with individual parts.
Yeah.
You need to understand how everything works together.
That makes a lot of sense. If you just add more gears randomly without understanding how the whole system works, things could go haywire pretty quickly.
Exactly. The book really emphasizes a holistic approach. You have to see the interconnectedness of all the elements.
So how does this systems thinking apply to something like a software company that's experiencing rapid growth?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
So let's say this software company is seeing a huge increase in users, which is fantastic, but it puts a real strain on their servers.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So they could just buy a ton of new servers that's horizontal scaling.
Okay.
Just adding more resources at the same level.
Kind of like adding more checkout lanes at a busy grocery store.
Yes.
Just more of the same thing to handle the volume.
Exactly. But they could also opt for vertical scaling.
Okay.
Which is boosting the power of their existing servers.
Got it.
So like upgrading the processing power or the memory.
So it's like upgrading your computer to handle more demanding tasks. So it's not just about adding more, it's about strategically choosing where to add or improve based on what the system actually needs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the secret to scaling doesn't just stop at explaining these concepts.
Okay.
It goes on to lay out 6 core principles for long-term success.
Right.
And it starts with the most crucial one, building a strong foundation.
I can see why that would be first. If your foundation's shaky, the whole structure is at risk.
Yes, especially as you try to scale.
Especially when you're trying to scale up.
Sure.
What does a strong foundation actually look like in practice?
Well, for startups, it's absolutely critical.
Okay.
It's about having the right leadership in place, a solid team structure that can actually adapt as you grow.
Yeah.
And well-defined processes right from the very beginning.
Right.
Those are the bedrock that supports everything you build on top of it.
It's like creating the DNA of the company.
Yes, a great analogy.
Yeah.
And along with this strong foundation, the book stresses the importance of communication and collaboration, which only become more critical as the company scales.
That makes sense. As things get bigger and more complex, keeping everyone on the same page seems crucial.
Yeah, to avoid miscommunication and wasted effort.
Exactly.
Imagine trying to build a skyscraper with different teams all working from different blueprints.
Yeah.
It would be a disaster.
You're still a disaster.
Clear, consistent communication.
Right.
And strong teamwork.
Yeah.
Those are the glue that hold everything together as you grow.
Now let's shift gears a little bit and look at our second source.
Okay.
Automations Made Easy, which promises to help us save tons of time, maybe even up to 2 hours every day.
Wow.
I know, right? So while the secret to scaling gives us those overarching strategies, Automations Made Easy is all about the practical tools and tactics.
Right, the hands-on stuff.
Exactly. And this is where automation comes in.
Yeah, automation's a hot topic these days.
It is. Is it really the magic bullet it's made out to be, though? Are we supposed to automate everything?
Not quite. While the potential time savings are amazing, it's not about just blindly automating every single task.
Right.
Automations Made Easy actually cautions against that.
Okay.
The key is to be strategic.
Got it.
Identify the right tasks that are really right for automation.
So which tasks are the prime candidates for this automation magic?
Think about tasks that are repetitive, time-consuming, and don't actually require that unique human touch. Those are the ones you can hand over to automation.
Like responding to routine emails,
Yes.
scheduling social media posts,
Yeah.
or maybe even processing basic orders.
Perfect examples. And Automation's Made Easy walks you through that whole process, from choosing the right tools to actually setting up the automations.
There's like having a personal automation coach right there with you.
Exactly. And they even provide templates to make it even easier.
Nice. That brings up a point from the course that I thought was really interesting. Monetizing your automation skills.
Oh, yeah.
What did they mean by that?
So as you become more proficient with automation,
Yeah.
you're not only saving yourself time, but you're developing a really valuable skill set
Right.
that you can actually use to help others and potentially generate income.
So you could turn your newfound automation expertise into a consulting gig,
Yep.
or maybe help other businesses streamline their processes,
Yeah,
or even create and sell automation templates.
exactly. Those are great examples.
So it's a smart way to leverage what you've learned
Yes,
and potentially turn it into a source of revenue.
absolutely.
Okay, so we've covered systems thinking, building a strong foundation for communication,
Yeah.
and how automation can be a really valuable tool for scaling. But let's be honest, scaling isn't always smooth sailing,
You're right. There are definitely challenges that come with growth and expansion.
for sure. What are some of those challenges?
Well, the secret to scaling doesn't sugarcoat it.
Okay.
They dedicate a whole section to these potential pitfalls, and they bring up a danger that might surprise some people. Premature scaling.
Premature scaling, what does that even mean?
It's a trap that a lot of businesses fall into.
Oh.
It's essentially trying to grow too fast too soon
Okay.
without having all the necessary pieces in place.
It sounds like trying to run a marathon before you've even learned to walk.
Exactly. And it can lead to a bunch of problems.
Like what?
Financial strain, operational inefficiencies.
Okay.
You might end up hiring too many people too quickly,
Right.
investing in infrastructure you don't even need yet,
Yeah.
or expanding into new markets before you're really ready.
So it's not just about speed, it's about strategic, sustainable growth.
Exactly. Another challenge they highlight is the talent shortage,
Okay.
which can be a major roadblock for companies experiencing rapid growth.
It's like needing to build a rocket, but suddenly there aren't enough skilled engineers available.
Exactly. And then there's the human element,
Okay.
resistance to change. People naturally get comfortable with the way things are
Right.
and might resist new processes or systems, even if those changes are designed to make things better in the long run.
That's understandable. Change can be uncomfortable even when it's for the better.
Right. So how do you overcome these scaling challenges?
Yeah. How do you ensure that growth doesn't turn into chaos?
Well, the secret to scaling offers some insightful advice.
Okay.
First and foremost, thorough planning and preparation are essential.
That makes sense.
Don't just jump into scaling without a clear strategy and a realistic assessment of your current capabilities.
So it's about analyzing your strengths and weaknesses,
Yeah.
identifying those potential roadblocks,
Mhm.
and creating a well-thought-out plan to navigate those challenges.
Exactly. They also talk about building a culture that embraces change. It's not enough to just implement new systems and processes.
Yeah.
You need to get everyone on board with those changes
Right.
and create an environment where adaptation is seen as positive and necessary.
So it's about fostering a mindset of continuous improvement
Yes.
and being comfortable with the idea that what works today might need to be tweaked or even completely overhauled tomorrow.
Exactly. And that might involve things like providing training and support to help people adjust,
Yeah.
actively listening to concerns and ensuring that everyone feels heard and understood.
Right. So it's about bringing people along on the journey, not forcing it upon them.
Exactly. It's almost like leading an expedition.
Yeah.
You need everyone on board prepared and equipped to handle whatever lies ahead.
I like that analogy. Speaking of learning from journeys, one of the most compelling aspects of The Secret to Scaling is its use of real-world examples,
Yes.
both success stories and cautionary tales.
They provide a lot of great insights.
I always find it fascinating to learn from what others have done,
Yeah.
both the good and the bad. It's like getting a sneak peek at the map
Right.
before you embark on your own journey. What kind of stories did they share?
Well, they highlight the online retailer Zappos
Okay.
as a successful scaling story.
Interesting.
They're known for their exceptional customer service.
Yeah.
And amazingly, they've managed to maintain that high level of service,
Wow.
even as they've grown from a small startup to a major player in e-commerce.
That's impressive. What's their secret? How did they pull that off?
Well, the book dives into their approach,
Okay.
and it really boils down to a few key factors. Strong leadership that sets the tone,
Hmm.
a clearly defined company culture that prioritizes customer satisfaction,
Yeah.
and a focus on employee empowerment,
Interesting.
giving their team the autonomy and tools to deliver outstanding service.
So it's not just about growing your customer base.
Right.
It's about scaling your values and ensuring they permeate the entire organization as you expand.
Exactly. Now, for a cautionary tale,
Okay.
they bring up Uber,
Oh,
which is a
Uber.
fascinating case study because they achieved massive growth in a very short time.
Yeah, they became a household name almost overnight.
Exactly.
But I imagine that kind of rapid growth can also bring its own set of challenges.
That's exactly what happened.
Mhm.
While they achieved incredible scale,
Yeah.
they also faced a lot of issues along the way.
Like what?
Regulatory hurdles, legal battles,
Right.
and a corporate culture that drew a lot of criticism.
So it's a reminder that even companies that seem like overnight successes can encounter serious obstacles along the way,
Yes.
and that prioritizing sustainable growth over just rapid expansion is crucial.
Absolutely. It's about finding that sweet spot where you're growing at a pace that allows you to maintain your core values,
Yeah.
quality standards, and your overall integrity.
Okay, so we've seen how systems thinking, a strong foundation, clear communication, and strategic automation all play vital roles in scaling effectively.
Right.
And we've also seen some potential pitfalls to avoid.
Yeah.
But how do we actually know if our scaling strategies are working?
That's where measurement comes in.
Okay, I think that's where the next part of our deep dive comes in.
Exactly. Welcome back to our deep dive into scaling. We talked about some of the strategies and potential pitfalls you might encounter along the way.
Yeah.
Now let's shift our focus to measuring your progress.
That sounds crucial. You can have the best strategies in the world,
Right.
but if you aren't tracking their impact,
Yeah.
how do you know what's actually working?
Exactly.
Yeah?
And that's where key performance indicators, or KPIs, come into play.
Okay, KPIs. Those always sound a little intimidating.
Yeah.
What exactly are they?
Right.
And how can they help us understand if our scaling efforts are on the right track?
Think of KPIs as signposts on your scaling journey.
Okay,
They're specific measurable values
got it.
that help you track progress toward your goals.
Okay.
Imagine you're on a road trip.
Mm-hmm.
Those mileage markers tell you how far you've come
Yeah,
and how much further you need to go.
right.
KPIs do the same thing for your business or project.
Okay, that makes sense. So what kinds of things would we actually measure with these KPIs?
It really depends on your specific goals and what you're trying to achieve with scaling.
Yeah.
Some common KPIs for businesses might include things like customer acquisition cost,
Okay.
customer lifetime value,
Mm-hmm.
website traffic,
Yeah.
conversion rates, or even employee satisfaction.
So if your main goal is to increase sales as you scale,
Right.
you might track your conversion rate,
Yeah.
the percentage of website visitors who actually make a purchase.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
Or if you're focused on building a loyal customer base as you grow,
Yeah.
you might measure customer churn rate,
Okay.
which tells you how many customers you're losing over a certain period.
So KPIs help you translate those big picture goals
Yes.
into concrete measurable data points that you can track over time.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that setting KPIs isn't a one-time thing.
Okay.
It's about continuously monitoring them
Mm-hmm.
and being willing to adapt your strategies based on what the data tells you.
So it's not just about setting the course and hoping for the best.
Right.
It's about regularly checking your instruments
Yeah.
and adjusting your sales as needed.
Exactly. The business landscape is constantly changing.
Right.
And what worked yesterday might not be as effective today.
Yeah.
Being able to adapt and pivot based on data is crucial,
Yeah.
especially in a fast-paced environment.
That makes me think back to The Secret to Scaling and their emphasis on agility.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
They emphasize that being able to adapt quickly is crucial, and measuring your KPIs helps you do just that.
Now let's loop back to our other source, Automations Made Easy, for a moment.
Okay.
While it primarily focuses on the practical aspects of automation,
Right.
it also touches on the importance of measurement.
Yes. They make a really interesting point.
Okay.
Even with automation, you still need to have a clear understanding of your goals
Yeah.
and what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
It's not about automating for the sake of automation.
So it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing. You still need to be actively involved monitoring the results
Yes.
and ensuring that automation is actually helping you move towards your goals.
Exactly. Automation's made easy reminds us that automation should be a tool for strategic growth,
Okay.
not just a way to mindlessly check tasks off your list.
Right. It should free up your time and resources so you
Yes,
can focus on those higher level activities
exactly.
that actually drive growth and innovation. It's
Well,
like having a self-driving car. It can get you places,
yeah,
but you still need to tell it where you want to go.
that's a perfect analogy.
Okay.
Let's dig a bit deeper into how we can actually measure the effectiveness of our scaling strategies.
Okay.
The secret to scaling introduces some interesting concepts,
Oh,
like cost-benefit analysis
okay.
and scenario-based evaluation.
Those sound pretty complex.
Yeah. Well, cost-benefit analysis is all about weighing the costs of scaling
Okay.
against the potential benefits.
Mhm.
It's about making informed decisions
Right.
based on a thorough assessment of the financial implications.
So you might analyze how much it would cost to hire additional staff versus the revenue those new employees could generate.
Exactly. So it's not just about spending money to grow.
Right.
It's about making sure that the investment is justified
Yeah.
by the potential return.
Yeah.
What about scenario-based evaluation?
Okay. What is that?
Scenario-based evaluation involves creating hypothetical situations
Okay.
to see how your systems and processes would hold up under different conditions.
Interesting. So like a stress test.
Yes. It's like
Yeah.
a stress test for your scaling strategies.
So you might simulate a sudden surge in website traffic
Yeah.
or a major product launch
Exactly.
to see how your infrastructure would handle that increased load.
Exactly. It helps you identify potential weaknesses or bottlenecks
Okay.
before they become real problems.
So you can kind of test your scalability in a controlled environment before you're facing those real-world challenges.
Exactly. And the secret to scaling acknowledges that there are often trade-offs to consider when it comes to scaling.
That makes sense.
It's rarely a simple equation. Sometimes you might need to sacrifice some short-term profitability
Okay.
to invest in the infrastructure and resources needed for long-term growth.
Or you might have to streamline certain processes,
Right.
even if it means making some tough decisions about cutting back on features or services.
Yeah, it's about prioritizing what's truly essential for sustainable growth.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
sometimes
Right.
you might even have to slow down your growth intentionally.
Yes, to make sure you're not overstretching your resources or sacrificing quality.
It's about finding that balance between pushing for growth
Yeah,
and maintaining stability and control.
precisely. Scaling isn't a race.
Right.
It's a marathon.
Yeah.
And like any marathon, you need to pace yourself,
Right.
conserve your energy,
Yeah.
and make strategic decisions along the way.
Now, both the secret to scaling and automations made easy seem to agree
Yes.
that measuring success isn't a one-time event.
Right.
It's an ongoing process.
Absolutely. You need to be constantly collecting data, analyzing trends, and adjusting your strategies based on what you're learning.
It's like having your finger on the pulse of your staring efforts.
Yes.
Constantly monitoring those vital signs.
Exactly. And this is where technology can play a really helpful role.
Mm.
There's so many amazing tools and platforms available
Yeah.
that can automate a lot of that data collection and analysis process,
Yeah.
making it much easier to track your KPIs and see what's working.
So you can set up dashboards that give you real-time insights into those key metrics.
Exactly.
And you can even get alerts
right.
when
right.
certain thresholds are crossed.
Yeah, like if your website traffic suddenly spikes
Yeah.
or your conversion rate dips below a certain level.
It's like having a co-pilot who's constantly monitoring your instruments and letting you know if anything needs attention.
Exactly. These tools allow you to stay informed and make data-driven decisions in real time.
Speaking of staying informed,
Yes.
I remember the secret to scaling emphasizing that measuring your success
Right.
isn't just about numbers.
It's also about understanding the human impact of your scaling efforts.
Right, because scaling can have a profound impact on your team, your customers,
Yeah.
and even the wider community.
Exactly.
It's about making sure that growth benefits everyone involved.
Yes, not just the bottom line.
So while it's important to track those financial metrics, it's equally important to pay attention to things like employee morale,
Yeah.
customer satisfaction, and the overall impact your company has on society.
Because ultimately, sustainable scaling is about creating something that has a positive ripple effect,
I like that.
something that leaves the world a little better than you found it.
So we've talked about the principles of scaling,
Right.
the challenges, and the importance of measuring your success.
Yes.
But how do we actually take all of this knowledge
Yeah.
and apply it to our own lives or businesses? That's where the rubber meets the road.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's time to move from theory to practice.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into scaling. We've explored the principles, the challenges, and the importance of measuring your success. Now let's get down to the practical steps. How do we actually apply all of this to our own lives or businesses?
Well, it's all about turning knowledge into action. And both of our sources offer some great guidance on where to start.
Okay.
Automation's Made Easy, for example, really excels at breaking down the implementation process into manageable steps.
That's reassuring because I think a lot of people can feel overwhelmed when they think about automation. Where's a good place to start?
Well, they have this great philosophy. Start simple.
Okay.
Don't feel like you have to automate everything at once.
Right.
Just pick 1 or 2 tasks that are taking up a lot of your time.
Yeah.
And focus on those first.
It reminds me of that saying, how do you eat an elephant?
Yeah.
One bite at a time.
Exactly. It's about building those automation muscles gradually.
Okay.
And the course provides tons of practical tips and real-world examples to guide you through each step.
They even offer those done-for-you templates.
Yes.
Which sounds like a huge time saver.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They've really taken the guesswork out of it.
Yeah.
And don't forget their advice on monetizing those automation skills.
All right.
Once you've got the hang of it.
Now, while Automation's Made Easy gives us those hands-on tactics,
Yeah.
the secret to scaling takes a broader approach.
Right.
Offering a framework for sustainable growth that goes beyond just automation.
Yes.
Yeah.
They really emphasize the importance of that strong foundation
Yeah.
we talked about earlier. Having a clear vision, defining your core values,
Right.
and establishing solid processes.
Right. It's not just buzzwords.
No, they're essential.
They're the cornerstones of scalable growth.
Exactly.
And they also talk a lot about strategic planning.
Yeah, makes sense.
You can't just scale haphazardly.
Right.
You need a roadmap.
You need a plan.
Exactly.
And that roadmap should include clear milestones and metrics
Yeah.
so you can track your progress and make course corrections along the way.
Yeah.
Like having a GPS for your scaling journey.
Right. Ensuring you stay on the right path and reach your destination.
Exactly.
Now, both of our sources seem to emphasize the importance of people when it comes to scaling.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just about systems and processes.
It's about building a team that can support and sustain that growth.
Okay. So hiring the right people.
Yes.
Providing them with the training and resources they need. And fostering a culture of collaboration and innovation.
Exactly. You're not just scaling your operations,
Right.
you're scaling your team and your culture as well.
And the secret to scaling highlights the crucial role of leadership in this whole process.
Oh, for sure.
As your company grows, you need strong leaders who can inspire their teams
Right.
and navigate all the complexities that come with scaling.
Exactly.
What are some qualities of a leader who can effectively scale a company?
Well, they need to be able to delegate effectively,
Okay.
empower their employees to make decisions,
Yeah.
and create an environment where everyone feels valued and aligned with the company vision. As the company grows,
Yeah.
leaders can't be involved in every single decision.
Right.
They have to trust their team to take ownership and drive things forward.
Okay, so let's get even more specific.
Okay.
What are some actions someone can take right now to start scaling effectively?
Well, a great first step is identifying your bottlenecks,
Okay.
the things that are slowing you down or preventing you from growing.
Okay. What could those be?
It could be a lack of resources,
Okay.
inefficient processes, or maybe even a skills gap within your team.
So once you've identified those bottlenecks,
Yes.
you can start brainstorming solutions.
Exactly. Maybe it involves automating certain tasks,
Okay.
streamlining processes, or bringing in some additional expertise.
And don't forget to play to your strengths as well.
Yes. What are you uniquely good at?
Yeah.
What sets you apart from the competition? Focus on leveraging those strengths as you scale and find ways to amplify them.
It's like doubling down on your winning hand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if there are tasks that are outside of your core competencies,
Yeah.
don't be
Yeah.
afraid to outsource them.
Right.
Or delegate them to experts who can handle them more effectively.
That frees you up to focus on what you do best.
Exactly. And perhaps most importantly,
Yeah.
stay agile.
Okay.
The world is constantly changing.
Right.
So be prepared to adapt your plans as needed.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to experiment, try new things.
Right.
And most importantly, learn from your mistakes.
So that growth mindset is essential.
Yes. Viewing challenges as opportunities to learn and adapt rather than roadblocks.
Exactly.
And remember, scaling is a journey, not a destination.
Hmm.
It's an ongoing process of learning, adapting, and evolving.
Right.
There will be bumps along the way,
Oh, yeah.
but that's all part of the adventure.
As we wrap up this deep dive,
Yes.
I want to leave our listeners with a final thought.
Okay.
Scaling can be challenging,
Yeah.
but it can also be incredibly rewarding. It's a chance to create something bigger than yourself to make a real impact on the world.
So true.
So embrace the challenge.
Yeah.
Stay curious and never stop learning. There's always something new to discover and new ways to grow.
I agree completely.
And remember, the most important ingredient in successful scaling is you. Your vision, your passion, your determination,
Yeah.
those are the driving forces that will ultimately determine how far you can go.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into scaling.
Yeah, we hope you learned some valuable insights that you can actually use.
Yes, in your own life or business.
And until next time, keep on scaling.
Thanks for tuning in to the Small Business Accelerator podcast.
We really hope today's strategies help you grow your business without breaking the bank.
Don't forget to check the show notes for links to resources we've handpicked for small business success.
If you found value in today's episode, it would make our day if you subscribed to the podcast and left us a review.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And stay tuned for our next episode. Next time, we'll reveal yet another game-changing strategy that's revolutionizing how small businesses on a shoestring budget take on giant corporations and accelerate their success.
Until then, keep accelerating your success.
This is Sarah Wilson.
And Roger Bryant, signing off.